Chalo yaar, I think we'll talk more about it, but I want to kind of address the elephant in the room, which is your Shark Tank experience as well. So and I want to do that while trying you've got the cheesecake for us as well. So I'll try it, but my question for you is 15 minutes on national TV, right? How does that kind of change your brand? Like what has happened since then, right? Kitna traction grow hua, kitna revenue grow hua, did you get amazing messages? Like, how has been the experience, post Shark Tank?
It's been surreal, honestly. And, obviously, as a founder...
I'm trying the cheesecake.
So, this is tiramisu.
This is tiramisu.
This is egg-based.
Oh, that's fine.
Okay, that's great. Yeah. So, and this
what is the other flavor?
This is Biscoff cheesecake.
So, I think I'll try this.
Okay, go for it, go for it.
Yeah.
So yeah, for me, Shark Tank was more than a business opportunity. Why? Because I wanted to do this for my mom. My mom comes from a very small town in UP, was married at a very young age and is completely self-taught in terms of her education or learning about food. And I know what she has been doing for last 10 years or so. I thought that and she's still helping me out, in a way. Generally, what happens is the role of parents, and once somebody earns a degree and is working, right? In my case, my mom's still part of, is a reason why I'm here, right? Now, for me, it was the ultimate, gift to her that taking you to the national television and getting you that recognition. So more than me, I am really happy about the messages that my mom is getting because all her friends, all her family, a lot of founders are reaching out to her, and that's something which is really good to see, because now my mom feels confident enough कि okay, I can tell them about the business. I'm not that okay, मुझे को नहीं आता होगा या फिर मुझसे ज़्यादा औरों को आता होगा. Now she has that confidence to tell. So I think that's the most fulfilling thing.
Very cute. Yeah.
In terms of response, of course, we have been flooded with all the messages. The orders have increased by 3 times. But the greatest part that I found in the Shark Tank thing was I have received, believe you me, 700 requests of franchises.
My God.
And we are not going into franchisee road, but this shows 2 things. That first, that in India, there are so many entrepreneurs who are looking for an opportunity.
Entrepreneurship is in our DNA.
Yeah. And the moment they see a good business, they want to jump on it. And the second thing is that these are all coming from small towns. So they realize, okay, there's a market gap there. There are people over there. So that's been really, confidence boosting for us, that because we want to build a brand for Bharat, we want to go to tier 2 cities, tier 3 cities. And such messages give us confidence, okay, like a small town near Mangalore, a small town, Hathras, all these will have good celebration products in the
and kind of validates your thesis as well, right? कि तुम्हें tier 2, tier 3 में अगर launch करना है, and so like there it kind of showcases that people are ready to put their money into this kind of a brand. So there is a demand for personalized cakes and celebrations even in smaller cities.
Absolutely. See, when it comes to, I'll tell you, so in the beginning of the business,
this is mind blowing, by the way.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you.
I can't control myself.
Lovely, lovely. So one thing that in the beginning of the business, I used to go and deliver cakes sometimes myself as well. One time what happened, there was a workaholic theme cake, somewhere around of $1,400, and it was raining, so I thought I'll deliver by car, and I delivered that cake in a chawl, and I was mind blown at that time that people. That our family must have saved that amount of money to celebrate in that way. So that's what I see, that this is something when aspiration kicks in. Budget is not what you look for, because you do it one time in a year, and you put a lot of emotions are at stake, which cannot be quantified in terms of money. And that's what I see in tier 2, tier 3 cities. From business sense, of course, because they don't have a lot of other avenues to celebrate and spend upon. So that's why whatever celebrations they can do in their own family and friends, so they do more on top of it. And the other thing is that there are tighter family cultures back in the smallest towns. So that's why the celebrations are also large scale. Like for example, if we have a birthday at our home, we'll be just 4 people celebrating. But in tier 2 cities, if there's a birthday, there'll be 20 people together doing that thing for you. So that also, so the market is even larger over there. And taking a leaf out of the big brands of not just India, from the world, if you have to build a legacy brand, you have to be the first brand in that particular area, because that's when you build that legacy which goes exponentially upwards. So that's why you want to reach to these tier 2, tier 3 cities as soon as
tier 1
possible.
में तो ये options हैं, but like tier 2, tier 3 cities में you can be the first one to offer these kind of experiences. And I think like तुम्हारा inside bang on है कि like people want to spend a little bit more on the celebration. Yet you know like obviously it should not be like 5,000 rupees, 6,000 rupees कि it becomes unaffordable, right? Like you are building like a celebration brand for the mass premium Bharat consumer, which is like you know, which is very exciting.
So we have this saying in our company that we don't want to be iPhone, we want to be OnePlus. Like we want to have all the features, but we want to make it accessible to the mass segment.
Amazing. And you guys, you know, like, so I've been on Shark Tank as well, right? So like you are generally on Shark Tank for 1.5, 2 hours, but episode to 15 minutes ka hota, right? So tell us a few things jo andar hui, like which like maybe like were not shown on TV.
So the craziest part was Amit's response, of course. So you know, before Shark Tank, the Shark Tank crew asked me multiple times, "Are you sure Amit has not, like you're not reached out to Amit because it has been 10 years."
अच्छा मैं तुमने उनको बता दिया था कि you had worked with
like a disclaimer. I thought that I should be telling them, so I told them. So I told them, no, it's been 10 years since Amit and I have spoken to each other.
My God.
And you know, generally people are nervous that okay, we are entering the tank. Me and my mom were focused on how Amit is going to respond to us. So, and the moment we entered, he just got up and he came down.
अच्छा ये दिखाया नहीं है?
नहीं दिखाया नहीं है. So he came in, he hugged me, and then.
So he recognized you, like even after 10 years, he suddenly recognized कि Pranjay.
So Amit and I have a really good story. So I did couple of startups back in college and they failed. So of course my CGPA was not that great. So Amit's company came. Of course, So Amit came himself to recruit from the college, and I was the last person to interview, and he took me around. He said, okay, bro, I'm going to take a punt on you, and he hired me. So like
amazing how founders hire.
Exactly, man. And that's how. So you know, I had a great team, by the way. I used to report to Rahul Yadav, founder of Minimalist. And
I think यार ये like car देखो तो like is the house of brands. मतलब every second person I meet like is a car dekho wala, like Minimalist, insurance dekho, so many companies.
Absolutely. They do that thing. So you know, Amit was my skip manager in that sense. So we used to work sleepless nights together to push out the products and all. So Amit came, and you know, when the Sharks asked, okay, do you know him? So Amit told them that me and Pranjay worked together. So for first 5 minutes, everyone thought that in Amit's previous company, me and Amit were colleagues, and that's the respect that then Amit had to tell, no, he was in Karthiko and we worked together. So the way you present that is also very fulfilling. So that happened. Another interesting bit is that Vinita had ordered 2 cakes from us already.
Pehle se?
Wow. And that was, but so one of that cake actually got delayed by 15 minutes or so. So she said, okay, Pranjay, you're talking about this, ki you deliver cake in this quickest time. But my cake was late. One of the cake was late. So I was like, okay, what happened after that? She said, okay, no, but there was, you know, you guys did, like you went on top of it and did. So I thought
but did you know that at that time that was Vinita Singh, like who ordered?
No, I did not know. Okay. That was something which I got to know there, and then he showed me the order because I'm too deeply involved in this, so I could relate, okay, this was this order. But anyway, so that was one thing. The other interesting thing was a 25-minute conversation between me and Anupam. So, you know, I've been in this fundraising round since last 8-9 months now, and I've pitched to like 50-60 investors, micro VCs, angel investors. And whenever you do, it's a 30 to 45 minute session with PPT in front of you, right? With Anupam.
It's exhausting.
It's exhausting. With Anupam, there's no PPT, there's nothing. But that guy, from what I'm saying, he's picking up it so fast. And the question that he asked, nobody asked me such question. Like, you know, I'll tell you one example. So when some people invest in public equity markets, you know, for different industries, there are different ratios you have to look upon to judge that company, right? In startup, you know, for different industries, and then at different level of the company, in beginning, intermediate and advanced, the different metrics are important for them to judge. Anupam knows everything. So, you know, he was asking me metric after metric after metric. And
like kaise metrics, like your EOV, your LTV, your CAC.
Like generally what happens in a business of cloud kitchen, payback period becomes very important.
Correct.
Now, generally people ask, what's the payback period? He did not ask me that. He asked me my ROAS, my repeat rate, for 5 different outlets that I have. And then he asked me, okay, what is the length, what is the duration of this outlet? And then what is your best outlet? So he benchmarked that, okay, this is your best outlet, which works in this number, and this is your 3-month outlet. So your 3rd month outlet is at 70% capacity of best month. And I never thought about it that way. And it was great. You know, before the pitch also, I was only a little bit nervous that if Anupam likes that model, because you know when Anupam doesn't like it, he's like he's candid about it, and you know it was that I have to earn his respect over there.
So like you felt validated that you were able to earn it.
And he gave me certain compliments. He spoke. He did not come in unfortunately because he felt the valuation.
Yeah, but why do you think like he felt the valuation was too high? Because अगर तुम एक D2C या food ecosystem देखोगे, right? Even if you look at public markets, 12 crore revenue and 30 crore का ask is very reasonable. It's like a 2.5x of a revenue with a company which is EBITDA positive. Right. So like why do you think that you know Anupam and even Amit to an extent felt कि valuation ज़्यादा थी?
See, I think I do not. I think they are right on their part because what happens, the valuation is a subjective game, and what happens that when like so much money has been invested in last 3 years in all the food brands of the world, and none of them is given return, right? So that also creates that you know that impact on the future companies that are coming in, because you understand that see a lot of companies in 2021 in food space were given very high valuation. Now they are not able to justify that valuation, and that kind of pressure is brought upon to you as well.
Hai. Like I think as a founder as well, I feel that having that monkey on the back and raising at a very high valuation is not recommended, because then you have to justify it all the time. But still I feel that 2.5x is very reasonable.
It's reasonable for sure, and also you know what that happened with Aman and Namita also, that because they felt that okay, this is something we are already seeing. Like we see that it happens in Delhi, in Pune. What I wanted to like, what maybe didn't come across was we are not building this brand for Pune or Mumbai or Delhi. We are building this brand for Bharat. Now these brands that you see in your neighborhood, can they go to a small town of Aligarh and build the same product and give it to you?
Correct.
So that's what the idea was about. So
because this is very founder led, this is very like that person who's the creator, who's the chef, who's the artist, like they are only creating it. But so business उन पे dependent है. But तुमने in a way, because of the supply chain, because of the entire processes, you're kind of automating it, and you're kind of reducing the price and then building it
and making it faster also.
Make it faster,
So that's what maybe didn't come across. But with Anupam, I think with Anupam it was quite clear that he wanted to come in. But see, the thing is, Anupam was very respectful of the fact that I had a term sheet in my hand already at that point of time, and he did not want me to put in that space also. So which is fair, because I also would have said no to that if it was much below the term sheet, right? I think somewhere around the fact that there is a bit of discounting that happens on Shark Tank also, because when you come on television, they also believe that they should get the better point of the deal. So
and they should
that's fair.
kind of feel validated and kind of feel कि हमने कुछ करा.
Exactly.
But do you think कहीं ना कहीं वो backfire भी हुआ, like जैसे like you initially asked for a 40 crore valuation and then you know Vinita said यार तुम्हारे तो अभी 2 महीने पहले टर्म शीट मिली है, तुम 30 के जगह 40 क्यों मांग रहे हो? You justified किया हमारा रेवेन्यू बढ़ा है.
Correct.
So like, but do you think like in hindsight, like you could have asked,
I could have asked for, if I'm being completely honest, I could have asked for the same valuation, but you know, because it's a negotiation game, you have to take.
If I were like in your position, I would have also asked for 40 crore. Exactly. Because you know that कुछ negotiation तो होगी. You have to kind of make the sharks feel important. You know,
I'm not going to defend here just for the sake of it. The whole point was that I wanted to land at the valuation in which I'm closing this round.
Correct.
And I thought that putting it in a higher number will get me closer to that. So that's the whole complete strategy behind it.
Amazing. And you're like, जैसे young founders, right? Like Shark Tank is now reaching the masses, right? अगर like, what would be your advice, you know, to young founders who now want to apply to Shark Tank, right? Like, what should they think about? Like, how should they prepare? Like, what would you say to them?
So I'll assume first that they have good business going, because
good business according to you, like what?
Like you're building something meaningful. Like it should not be a redundant business, because if it's a redundant business, see, you have to understand from the point of Shark Tank also that from a TV perspective, the viewers, it's essentially made for viewers, right? And these viewers should have something interesting to see. That interesting could be a very normal category also, but you doing something different, or your story is something different. So you know, when I applied for Shark Tank, I realized that okay, I need to tell them my story. That who am I? In fact, the Shark Tank process is built in that way. If you remember, they asked less about business in the first round. They asked more about you.
Correct.
What are your values?
Yeah, eventually, it's an entertainment show.
Exactly.
Right? They want the founders to have an interesting story and kind of look good in front of the camera, and the audience to kind of enjoy the founders
and relate
also
well. With that.
And it has to be relatable.
Relate in the sense, okay, I can be, this is me, or I can be this in some time. It has to be either of that.
Correct. Right. जैसे हमारा जब story था, like so me and Tanya, we used to run our own health and wellness brand called Zoe. तो जब initially idea आया था ना, like so me and Tanya were about to get married, मतलब we met each other through जीवन साथी, and before proposing to her that I want to get married, I proposed, let's start a venture together.
Wow, that's great.
And so I was मैंने अपनी company बेची थी, and I want to start the second company. And I'm a big time foodie, like I'm into like Indian snacks, samosa and all. So मुझे एक idea आया कि एक काम करते हैं, एक venture launch करते हैं, tapsamosa.com. Immediately, like you will get samosa and Indian snacks and all, and we'll build into large business. Like without even talking to Tanya, I took the domain overnight and say हम इसको launch कर रहे हैं. अगले दिन मैंने तान्या को बोला,
by the way, that's how founders do it.
Yeah, that's how founders do it, right? So मैं बोला कि we are launching this business. उसने कहा यार, like, and she is the most health conscious person in the world, right? उसने like she's worked in fashion, luxury. तो उसने कहा यार चाहे कुछ भी हो जाए, मैं like जंक फूड का ब्रांड तो नहीं लॉन्च करने वाली. So तो इसको अभी चेंज करते हैं. ठीक है, तुझे फूड करना है, फूड करते हैं, बट लेट्स चेंज फ्रॉम समोसा टू कोल्ड प्रेस जूसेस. And that's how like Zoe was born. And I realized that हमारा जो Shark Tank का audition था ना, that was around this personal chemistry more. So obviously we were doing like a 40-50 crore business, so that was impactful.
Correct.
But like this story and that personal connect and the relatability also is very important.
Yeah, and that's what my message to founders would be, that tell you, because sometimes you have good story, but it does not come across. So work on your story. Like think of right words to put in, so that because somebody who is assessing 100 applications or thousands of applications,
correct.
So how they're able to, in the first few words only, they would identify, okay, this is interesting. I want to dive deeper into this. So very important part, focus on your story. Be articulate in what you want to say. That's the first round, and focus on each round. Like then the second round is more about business model. Then you tell about how that business model is right for you, right for India. And of course, you know what happens, like when you go to an investor, you talk about you have to give them a big picture. Sometimes you do not have that big picture, but you're forced to think that big picture if you want to get that investment. Similarly, you sometimes have that interesting story which you've not thought of yet. So think what makes you interesting and bring that part out in that application, which will really help you out.
Correct. And also, I think while doing that, stay authentic.
Of course,
right? Because like like it's a show where the sharks are very smart. I mean, like they judge so many applications that if you're not authentic, making something up, it will come across.
And that becomes counterintuitive. We have seen a lot this time in this Shark Tank season as well.
Correct.
That if you are for the lack of better word, bullshitting around, then that will be called over there. And then it will go the either way of the way you're thinking about it. So we have to be really authentic. Be honest in what you say. If you don't know, say you don't know. If your numbers are bad in one particular aspect, accept the fact, because these are founders. They understand that not everything is perfect that way.
Amazing, yeah. Like congratulations, on raising around, getting Amit officially on board, and I think overall your Shark Tank episode was really well received. Like like हम लोग भी like कितने टाइम से बात कर रहे हैं, but eventually like I am sure तुम्हें बहुत सारे podcast requests भी आए होंगे after.
But the thing is, see, I truly believe that right now is the time to build business. The validation comes in, but with you have been talking for so long, I thought that I have to meet you in what better way. And the conversations we have had has already been so enriching, so I thought that might as well just do it.
Amazing. I think like as your ex-bosses and your team would say कि don't be like a social media founder. पहले business बनाओ, execute करो, धंधा बनाओ, उसके बाद तुम ये सारे interview और podcast करना, because यार eventually बात करना और podcast करना और ज्ञान देना बहुत ईजी है. एक बिजनेस बनाना, ऑन द ग्राउंड कस्टमर को मिलना, उसका फीडबैक लेना, ऑपरेशन टीम के साथ काम करना, प्रोडक्ट पे इनोवेट करना, रोआस लेके आना, सेल्स लेके आना, ये बहुत ईजी है. हमने ना कहीं इन वर्ड्स को बहुत वो कर दिया है, लाइक ईजी बना दिया. लाइक हम ऐसे बात करते हैं, रोआस कितना है, एलटीवी कितना है, कैक कितना है, राइट, 1000 न्यू फ्लेवर लॉन्च कर दो, नई सिटीज में वो कर दो, बट टॉकिंग अबाउट इट एंड डूइंग इट day in and day out, and that hustle of a founder is.
And also I think what happens is that if you like, once you're carried away with the fanciness of this particular word, you lose that hindsight. Okay, because आपको धंधा बनाना है तो कभी-कभी क्या होता है कि वो 2 महीने में नहीं बनेगा, उसको लगेगा 1 साल.
Correct.
तो फिर आपको अगर जबरदस्ती उसको करना चाहोगे तो somewhere that business will also get impacted over.
यार ये ना बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग चीज तुमने बोली है, and like ये हमारा नेक्स्ट सेक्शन भी है वेयर आई वांट यू टू गिव सम एडवाइस टू यंग फाउंडर्स. बट आई थिंक ये बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग पॉइंट है कि अगर जब तुम कुछ शुरू कर रहे हो ना, डोंट थिंक ऑफ इट फ्रॉम अ 2 month, 6 month, 12 month thing. Like it has to be from like a 3 year, 5 year, 7 year, 10 year perspective, because let's say if we talk about stories of Ritesh or Dipinder, right, like वो हमें बहुत आइकॉनिक स्टोरीज लगती हैं और ऐसा लगता है कि वो ओवरनाइट हुए हैं, बट ओवरनाइट नहीं हुआ, वो इट हैज बीन ब्लड स्वेट एंड टीयर्स ऑफ 10 years, राइट?
5 बार वो खत्म होने की पोजीशन पे थे।
करेक्ट। सो अगर तुम कुछ भी कर रहे हो, चाहे वो पॉडकास्ट भी है, राइट, लाइक यू थिंक ऑफ इट फ्रॉम अ 3 year 5 year perspective, हाउ डज इट काइंड ऑफ फिट इनटू योर प्लान? बिजनेस है तो उससे बिकॉज 2 months में यू कांट एक्सपेक्ट एनीथिंग टू कम आउट ऑफ इट, लाइक
एंड वही होता है ना, आप जबरदस्ती फोर्स करोगे तो कहीं ना कहीं वो इम्पैक्ट तो आएगा ही आएगा उसका। सो एब्सोल्युटली।